Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight podcast, powered by Crew Consulting, Google and Amazon advertising experts. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Mike Lewis of Synthoni, who highlights our upcoming AI Super User Bootcamp. This 4-week bootcamp is designed to help businesses effectively boost their use of AI tools in daily workflows by improving efficiency, decision-making, and productivity. We are also joined by Mike Smith of the Newport Business Council, who gives us the scoop on our inaugural Business Council annual celebration happening on Wednesday, May 7th, and the local organizations that will be honored with the first ever Business Achievement Awards that night. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, Crew, Google and Amazon advertising experts, and Schneller Knockelman. We are highlighting 2 big events on today's episode of the podcast, so instead of plugging some upcoming events, I wanted to highlight our cost-saving partnerships. At the Northern Kentucky Chamber, we're helping members save money by giving you access to resources that will help your business run more efficiently while improving your bottom line, from health insurance and office supplies to professional development and marketing resources. You can see all of these member benefits and get more information and sign up at nkychamber.com/savings. Now let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and I'll be back with this week's guests.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we'll highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Mobility Plus of Florence is celebrating 3 years of serving the mobility needs of the Northern Kentucky community. SHP is a dynamic team of architects, designers, and engineers who maximize the utility, beauty, and wonder of a space. Housing Opportunities of Northern Kentucky is a faith-based nonprofit organization with 30-plus years of success in guiding families and individuals on their path to homeownership. Incubator Kitchen Collective is more than a shared kitchen. They are a vibrant community where food entrepreneurs build from strong foundations, unlock their full potential, and create meaningful impacts. Delightmore is a dynamic event management and catering company known for creating unforgettable experiences through innovative venue spaces and exceptional service. Hi, everyone. I am with Mike Lewis, Synthoni's Chief AI Architect. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, so I am excited to have you on. We're going to talk a little bit about Synthoni. And one of the things that you guys are doing here with the Chamber is we are hosting another round of our AI Super User Boot Camps for small businesses in the spring and the summer. It's a really great event for some of our smaller businesses that haven't onboarded AI fully onto their business. So tell us a little bit about Synthoni and how you guys are leveraging AI.
Well, Synthoni came about when Tier 1 and I came together, I guess around 2023. I had started a small business, so sort of a single shingle consultancy helping organizations in the region, mostly with analog to digital transition. So, I started that kind of at the peak of when social media everyone was sort of scrambling to figure out what it meant for their business, and something I had kind of had some early success with, or a previous business I owned. And so I started helping a lot of businesses in the region. I had a real interest in education, though, so helping schools. And so I was working with and talking to a lot of the schools in the region, colleges, high schools, and that led to me meeting Tier 1 because they're really big into education when it comes to education in the enterprise space. And so some of the best in the business, if not the best in the business out there. So we got to know each other and just realized that our superpowers blended very well. And I had a lot to learn from them, and they had a little to learn from me. And so we started Synthoni. So my business rolled in, my book of business rolled in, and we started to figure out how in the world to use AI to help these big businesses. So that's what Synthoni is. Tier One has a relationship with the chamber, right? As you know. And so someone suggested, I'm not sure who, someone had the idea that maybe we could offer boot camps to chamber members. And we'd been doing boot camps for a while. I'm not sure when they started, but Tier One really helped me get good at them. I didn't realize how bad I was at teaching until you're like around pros who really understand how to do it. They helped me see how terrible it is when someone just drags you into the deep end, and they help me like learn to tiptoe people in, and really slowly acclimate to new technology and think through not just what can it do, but like specifically how can it help someone within the framework of like their reality.
Right.
What does this actually mean for me? I don't care what it can do, like how can it make my life different or better, like right away. And so with our last boot camp for the chamber, we decided to just focus on ChatGPT. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of like, if you have Enterprise or Plus ChatGPT, can we turn you into a real super user? And you might be stunned how much there is. I mean, it might just feel like I just talk to it, right? That's all you do. You just talk to it. There are so many sharp edges and personality quirks and things you need to understand about the differences in the type of cognition that an AI has and what a human has, and its limitations, and the right ways to ask it for help, and also what sort of weird things can it do that you'd never guess. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head. Is that helpful?
Yes, it is. So this is something that is going to be applicable for a lot of different member businesses, a lot of different people here in Northern Kentucky who are maybe using AI for the first time or trying to get smarter with their use of AI. Tell us a little bit about the types of things that people are going to learn and who will really benefit from this boot camp.
Yeah, it would depend on the specific focus we have for the boot camp. The last one we did was a ChatGPT boot camp. Sometimes we will do boot camps on, so we may have a smaller group from a specific company, and maybe they have pre-existing a subscription. So we kind of look at, okay, within your infrastructure, what do you already have access to? Can we train you on that? So like a lot of people have Copilot. That's an example. A lot of people have the Google tools. That's an example. There's a long list of stuff like that. So I believe with the next one, we are just doing super user training for AI prompting. And that will probably be facilitated within the ChatGPT environment. I'm pretty sure that's what we have planned. So don't hold me to that, but I feel 90% sure that's what they have on the book. I kind of swoop in at the last minute and teach. So, and what would they expect to learn? Um, well, a better way to answer that question might be to explain what people don't know they don't know
Yeah,
about
let's do
these
it.
tools. So if I could just ask for permission to kind of just riff on that a minute, and please interrupt me if I'm going too long, okay? So a lot of people don't realize that these tools have actually a pretty small memory. And so you think AI, you think like infinite power, you think, oh, well, the reality is maybe it could theoretically do all that, but the costs go up. They scale quadratically as you put more and more information. So what that means is, it's kind of almost like exponential scaling. And so to keep it so that their servers don't catch on fire and melt down, they actually choke the capabilities of these models way down. We help people understand like the real numbers behind that and how they can test and make sure what I'm putting in is actually being fully considered. And so because these tools also suffer from something that we call in the industry, we call it sycophantic bias. It's a really big word. You can almost imagine what it means, though. It means that they desperately want to, they behave as a sycophant to the user. They desperately want to please you. They want you to feel great about the answer. And as a result, they can make stuff up when they're not capable of really helping in a way. So we help you learn how to get out in front of that. Really, if you said distill it down into a sentence, right? I would say we help you understand the broad array of types of things you can do and have confidence to trust the outputs.
Yeah, I think that confidence and trusting is a big piece of it. We know, as someone who works in marketing and social media, we know that when we are getting feedback from ChatGPT or whatever tools we're using, you have to double check that. We joke it's a discount double check. You've got to make sure it's up to date. You've got to make sure it's all within the things that you need, the things that you want. It doesn't have 75 different hashtags that don't make any sense if you're writing social copy. So I think for a lot of businesses, there are so many different ways people can use ChatGPT or different types of AI. So it's good to know that you guys are going to kind of look at it as a broad perspective and narrow it down. So what do you think for businesses who are using AI or they're looking to use AI, what are like 2 or 3 things that you think are the biggest benefits that businesses can get out of it?
Hmm. Good question. If you said I only get one, I would say uh, in the right hands, when you've given the people in your organization access to the tools and they understand the rules to using them, so tools and rules, if you've done that, you could probably expect your people to get work done that would have probably previously required an additional 20 to 30 IQ points.
Mhm.
Having and I bet all of us have probably experienced some version of this where it's kind of like, whoa, I am not smart enough to have thought of that, or I would not have ever, right, or I didn't have an awareness of, that thing, it's just learn. And so the big thing is I think you can get so much more out of your workforce when they sort of understand what's okay and they have access to real enterprise grade software. So just sort of the core bottom thing is just, I think it's people power.
Mhm.
Um, okay. And I've experienced that. I mean, people think I'm really smart because I have a fancy work title, but the reality is I get so much of what I get done just because I've just gotten good at figuring out how to ask AI for help.
Mhm.
So that is the big one. Beyond that, I'd probably need to bust it up. I mean, we have identified 16, we call them solution archetypes. So we've identified 16 sort of elemental level classes or types of solutions where we see real value in the enterprise space. I could either read those out loud to you, share them on the screen, or just tell you some of my favorites, or you could go in another direction. But so I would say past like empowering your people, which we call that AI education. The next 15 are like really specific, weird little superpower things that AI can do. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the archetype we have identified, and we've called AI scaffolding. So AI scaffolding, um, let me just read what it says here. Systems that use AI to create transparent, explainable, rules-based frameworks without ongoing black box concerns. So we hear this all the time. Well, we wish we could use AI on this problem, but the reality is it's a black box. It's not auditable. So we don't know for sure that we can trust the calculations it's doing or whatever opinion it's giving or whatever it is. And so we wish we could use it there, but we can't use it there. And that's when we kind of wag our finger, and we say, let's just validate that, because what we have learned is AI can be really helpful at building scaffolding around a solution that then serves as some sort of transparent, auditable, rules-based process or model or program or application that then we can disassemble the AI scaffolding around and say, look, now we have a tool that you can use, that you can trust, because we can look in and see how it works. For instance, we had someone come to us and say, hey, we're 2 major organizations. We just merged. We have siloed subject matter experts. We have this really important product. We're trying to figure out how to price it. And it is a hot mess. We can't achieve consensus on how to even measure this thing at this point, because there's so many different perspectives. AI is a wonderful companion in this type of environment where it's like, hey, give it the plate of spaghetti and let it straighten out all the noodles and figure out which end goes to which end, straighten them out and put them in the box. AI is great at making sense of just walls and walls and walls and walls of transcripts and saying, hey, here's the rule book. These are the rules. Now, once you have that, it's also great at writing code. So we could say, perfect, in Python, write us a financial model that we can then hand to them and say, check our assumptions. Does this math seem right? Like if this is going on there, and this, and and these are the sliders, and these are our assumptions. They can look at it and go, yep, 30% seems a little low. We like 40. I mean, whatever it is, right? And so then now we have a model to hand them and say, here's your new pricing model. And wouldn't you know, they loved it. That's AI scaffolding. Let's talk about research systems. So this is a huge one. I'm running one on my other monitor right now, preparing for a meeting. So we have a big meeting with a global client tomorrow. And I just got a list of 5 names for people who are going to be in that meeting with me. And we're going to talk about their AI strategy and our AI strategy. So I have 6 AI research agents running in the background, going and looking at all of the people who are going to be present in the meetings tomorrow, researching their entire career histories, looking at their hobbies, looking at their interests, building a dossier on everyone who's going to be in that meeting. I'm also running agents that are building a dossier on the company and all of its initiatives, not only AI related, but other initiatives that we might be able to step into with our solutions. I've educated those AI agents on our solution archetypes and said, these are our capabilities. Just try to spot overlap to help. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to speed run trust building and rapport. And the fastest way to get there is just understand what's relevant and what's not. And so that's a research system, that an internal tool that we could configure for any organization. But again, so that's another one. But just imagine a bunch of weird stuff like that. And we say those are the elemental building blocks of kind of the AI universe. And you sometimes string them together to make a solution.
Yeah, it sounds like there are a lot of different pieces, and we know that from just knowing what AI is doing. And it sounds like this is such a useful tool for our members who would like to sign up. For those who are not aware of it, it's a 4-week boot camp. There are a bunch of different cohorts that we're running this summer. But Mike, it has been so great to have you on to deep dive into all of this crazy stuff in this brave new world that we're all entering in. Is there anything else that you think our members need to know about this boot camp or about AI and Synthoni in general?
Well, sure. I mean, the boot camp, we'd love to have you. Our net promoter score was off the charts last time. The feedback we got was unbelievably good. Synthoni, we'd love to get to know you, help you. I mean, we don't only cater to Fortune 250, unlike Tier 1, who typically has larger clients. Synthoni is very interested in mid, small, even small businesses. Anything education related, we love. All right. But then, if it's just kind of like, they can't do a boot camp, they can. But, if I was going to give them one little AI tip or trick, right, I would say this one's fun. If you ever sit down and you're using something like a ChatGPT or Gemini tool, and you're about to ask it for help, why don't you think about doing it this way? And so this is a podcast. You can kind of pause this here, get a notepad out, write down these 5 steps, because we have a little circle you can run through, right? And so this is one of the things we cover in our boot camp. But we love this to get great results out of an AI tool that you can trust afterwards. All right. So the very first thing you want to do when you sit down to use these tools is something we call end goal alignment. Much like what you would do with an intern or a recent hire, you don't just throw some papers on their desk and say, do this. That's what people tend to do with AI. No, what you do is you would say, hey, here's why we're doing this. Here's what we need in the end. This is what we've been asked to produce. This is what, right? Okay. So you're going to tell it. And what most people then do is kind of rush past it. Now, you ask it to deploy active listening and tell me, the user, what you expect we're going to do next. And so this is a validation step to make sure it understands that the language it speaks matches the language you speak, and that it has interpreted what you're saying properly. Okay, that is an important step that I don't think people appreciate really matters. So a lot of those weird answers you get is because of an early misunderstanding or no understanding of what the goal is. Okay, so we've told it the end goal, we've aligned. Now, a lot of times there are assets that are relevant to the end goal. Hey, here's the email that came in. Here's an image that I want you to look at. Here's our Word file or some PDFs about this client or project, whatever it is, right? Give it those assets. Okay, so remember I said end goal, validate? Now we give it assets. Again, validate. Ask it, hey, I just gave you a PDF. What do you see on page 13? Why would I do that? I want to make sure it understands what I gave it. People don't realize usually when these things break, it's because it's page 13 is labeled 13 in the PDF to your eye, but it's actually 15. Or, it's something like that, right? And so then, and maybe it can't see the images in the PDF. So you just want to see, like, what do you see? What do you know? Now, how does that relate to our end goal? Okay, great. So once I validated, it understands that. Now I can actually just say, do the work and set it off. And so those are kind of our 5 steps for like effective usage of that. And so I don't know, it's just a fun little workflow. Maybe try it sometime and see if it works for you.
Yes, try it. If it works, come to the Synthoni AI Bootcamp, learn even more tips and tricks. Mike, it has been so great to have you on. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, you bet, Sarah. Thank you. And thanks for all the great work you all do.
Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Mike Smith, owner of Headquarters Wedding and Event Venue and our representative for the Newport Business Council. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I am very excited to have you. We're going to talk a little bit about the Newport Business Council. Obviously, the Newport Business Council has been around for a lot longer than the Chamber, has been partnered with you all. Sure. But tell us a little bit about what you guys have been up to.
So this new chamber collaboration has been really great. We had been around, like you said, for a long time. And this was kind of like a refreshing start to kind of kick off what a lot of us had been wanting to do for years, which is to kind of make it more of a social get-together environment where we're able to like actually help businesses with their needs. Mm-hmm. Instead of just providing more information sessions, we're able to kind of meet the business owners in the community where they need us to be, kind of get everyone working together to collaborate, which is great.
Yeah, especially in Newport, there are so many different businesses, so many different types of businesses. Obviously, at Headquarters, you guys are there on Monmouth Street. You guys are locally owned and kind of in that corridor where there are a ton of other businesses like you.
For sure. Yeah. So us being more of an entertainment style business, there's a lot of that in Newport. Really, Newport is the main kind of economic hub of Campbell County, really. So you see a lot of people from the other regional areas coming to Newport for a lot of retail, a lot of all their shopping, restaurants, bar, entertainment, all that stuff. So it's kind of neat to see all the different types of business. But like you said, it is very diverse in the type of business owners as well. So there's a lot of older business owners that have been there for 20, 30, 40 years. Mm-hmm. And then there's a lot of new business coming in. So we do have a lot of vacancies down in Newport. So it's really nice for our community to kind of rally around everyone getting out and trying to fill some of those vacant spots, which is nice.
Yeah. So you mentioned that in Newport, you guys want other businesses to come together. You kind of want more of a social aspect. How are you bringing businesses together, and what kind of resources are you providing to businesses when you all get together?
Sure. So we do have a couple new different types of meetings that we're doing. We do have luncheon style meetings. So a lot of businesses that maybe aren't necessarily business owner run, but a lot of the employees that can actually come and attend a luncheon, which is great. Sometimes it's hard during business hours to be able to get people to get together. So we're also hosting a lot of after hours social events. Mm-hmm. So trying to get people to come out and kind of meet more in that social aspect where they're not so tied up in their day-to-day business stuff, but really getting the connections to other business owners, working together, and that collaboration really comes in that personal connection versus the like business side of things. So we're trying to make it a little bit more exciting entertainment wise, trying to get people together.
Yeah, and speaking of entertainment and social and getting together, the business councils, so you all with Fort Thomas and with Florence, our business councils are hosting a business council annual celebration. It's our first one ever. It's happening on May 7th. Tell us a little bit about this event.
So it's a really neat event. It was a great idea that the chamber kind of came up with to get everyone working together, which is the whole point, making that regional connection. It's kind of one of the nice things about the business councils is that while we're all trying to work on our own specific cities, we all have similar issues that come up. So we can kind of work together throughout the different regional cities to kind of solve some of those problems. So in doing that, we wanted to make sure everyone could get together to celebrate together. So it's a really neat event. So like you said, on May 7th, we're going to be getting together out at Turfway Park to be able to have an event and evening to kind of celebrate some of our businesses. One of the really cool things that we're going to get to do is celebrate a lot of those Newport businesses, especially the one we're going to be giving a Business Achievement Award to, which is the Incubator Kitchen Collective, which is located in Newport, which is a really cool business. What they do is they help entrepreneurs work together and collaborate to get them started in their restaurant and beverage business industries. So they're really the ones that kind of help on the back end, giving them a collective workspace to work together. and then help to promote their businesses and take them through every step of kind of building a restaurant style business, which is cool.
Yeah, that is very important, especially in Newport. We just mentioned a lot of businesses doing a lot of that. So congratulations to Incubator Kitchen Collective, obviously doing great work in Newport. Other nominees, just to plug our other ones, Fort Thomas Coffee in Fort Thomas, obviously, and then Nostalgic Garage in Florence. So some chamber members that are doing some really great work, and it's exciting to honor Incubator Kitchen Collective. Tell us a little bit more about how the process of these awards works, what you guys are looking forward to for these events.
For sure. So the process for the awards, all businesses that were members of our each of our councils were able to nominate themselves to be an award recipient of this, which is really neat. You get to see so many people different applying about what's great that they've done and how they've helped the community. So it is a really hard process to select a winner because all the businesses are so great. But really what's awesome is you get to kind of get a behind the scenes of what you don't normally see from a business. So when I'm looking out there in the world, you don't get to see all of the steps that individual business owner has taken to get to this point in their business, which is cool. So we behind the scenes get to see a lot of that. But these business achievement awards, this is what they're about. They're getting to share their stories, getting to inspire new businesses to be built, really to inspire existing businesses to kind of take the next steps they need to kind of help grow their business, which is cool.
Yeah, that is very exciting. Like you said, a little peek behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
So that event is happening May 7th. And if people are not registered, they can do that at nkychamber.com/events. So very easy to get involved. And then one of the other things I wanted to ask about the Newport Business Council in general. Obviously, you guys are doing a lot of great work, bringing a lot of businesses together. How can people get involved, and what sort of opportunities are there to, elevate their businesses with you all?
For sure. So the Newport Business Council, obviously, we've been around for a long time, but with our rebranding with the chamber, it's been really, again, refreshing to be able to get that access to how they can get involved. So now that we have our website out that they can access, they can do signups online, they can register for events online. So getting involved has become a lot easier nowadays, which is awesome. So if you're a business owner out there or you're involved in a business and you want to come out and get involved and kind of meet your community, meet your business community, that is very, very easy to do. We do post all of our events on Facebook as well. So if you're out there on Facebook and you wanted to sign up for one of our events, we invite you to come out, check out our events, come to a luncheon, come to one of our business happy hours. Even if you're not registered, come to the event, meet the community, and then if you want to continue to get involved, you can sign up and be a member.
Yeah, makes it really easy and easy to find on the Facebook, of course. But Mike, before I let you go, is there anything else that you think businesses need to know about the Newport Business Council if they're thinking about getting involved or they don't know anything about you yet?
No, this is the probably the most exciting time. I've been in Newport for about 10 years. I'm a resident there, so I kind of get to see both sides, the business community and the actual neighborhood community. And now's the time to get involved. It's really special what's happening down there. We have a great new set of commissioners that are working under the head of a new city manager, which is great. We have a great mayor down in Newport. So everything's kind of working together with this united front to kind of make the change happen, help to grow our community. And it's really great to have support in the business community. I know too often you see kind of the older business communities kind of fall behind, but now that we're all working together, it kind of helps us to kind of grow together, make that change that's much needed in these some of these older towns, which is cool.
Yeah, it's great to see everything awesome happening in Newport. We love Newport. We hope to see more exciting things come out of the city soon. But Mike, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much.
Chris Knockelman with Schneller Knockelman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. It's spring now, but before you know it, our ACs are working overtime.
Dave, it's going to be warm soon.
Right now is a good time to get the AC serviced, right?
You can get your AC tuned up for only $59.
So get your $59 tune-up at
SKPHA.com. SKPHA. So if your plumbing and mechanical systems give you trouble, just remember our name. Schneller Knockelman.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the podcast as we highlighted those two upcoming events, our AI Super User Bootcamp and the Business Council Annual Celebration. If you are interested in learning more about either of those events or attending either of them, please visit nkychamber.com/events. And while you're there, be sure to check out our savings tab. You can also find that under Save Money to learn more about our cost-saving partnerships that can help improve your business bottom line. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, Sea Crew and Schneller Knockelman. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're a member who would like to share your workforce strategies and resources on our Talent Strategy Spotlight, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen or at our staff directory, as always, at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to everyone next week.